Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm the CEO, and the app that me and my team thought about was 123 Learning, which is a fun educational online or app on your phone that kids can be entertained and learning different things from the ages of pre-K to second grade. Next slide, please. This slide, we have our group members, but unfortunately they couldn't make it, so it's just me right now, and I'm the CEO. Our impact statement over that we hit a pandemic, a lot of kids lost their educations and the way they were being able to learn. This caused the poverty level of many families to go down due to the lack of education. And since Corona, almost 56% of children who are in school are not learning as they should be. And this problem is not getting any better due to the fact that, kids are not entertained, they're not focused, they don't want to learn. And so me and my group thought of, how can we make learning fun, age, and accessible kids that are in low-income families, and this is generated to kids pre-K to second grade. Our global push is to ensure, free primary and secondary education, and hope children, want to be able to learn this way that in the future, because children now are our future, help them want to learn and, be the people who are not a part of the low income percentage. Next slide, please. Imagine your child or someone you know of a younger age between the grades of pre-K to second grade having a fun educational fixed apps that are specifically fixed to their needs. My story, I am an older sibling, and my siblings range from the ages of 14 to 3. And my youngest brother is 3 years old, and he is in pre-K as of right now. And I've noticed the change in, him wanting to learn due to the pandemic. And I realized that he's not really focused on, he doesn't want to learn, and that has to do because, what he learns in school is not really interesting him. And the teachers don't pay him as much, time as, he should be getting as he was in school. And when we were going apps similar to like ABC Mouse or even YouTube, ABC Mouse, you have to pay a lot of money for it. And some parents like mine can't afford that. And with YouTube, he loves dinosaurs, and there's not always a specific video that is interested or fixed to his desires, and he always ends up changing it because he doesn't really like it. And this is how it has impacted me since the pandemic started, and I have realized and been able to see for myself how our education level has impacted the poverty level. Next slide, please. I surveyed a few people, like social workers, some of my teachers, family members, and I asked them, if I was to be able to create an app that was fixed for kids pre-K to second grade, what would you want to see on the app? And they said that they wanted, an app that was available on multiple platforms, an iPad, a computer, and a phone. And everybody wants it to be kid friendly because you want your kids to be independent and also get the learning that they need. And of course, they said that they wanted, the app to have parent controls and restrictions without having to put any of their personal information into the app. And they felt as though, the app should have games where, not only the child play, but it's fun and interactive for the family and all. While I was doing my research, I found a few similar apps or websites that helped me think about how I would want to create my app. One is similar to Khan Academy. Khan Academy is an online app or website that I use as a high schooler, and it's free, and it helps with free practice, test videos, and hints. But the one thing that I don't necessarily like about Khan Academy is that if I need the help and I want to practice and I need one as a hint, they don't mark the question correct, they mark it wrong. And that's one thing I don't really like about Khan Academy, because then I feel like it doesn't show my progress. Another one similar to that is ABC Mouse. If you have younger siblings and younger family members, and they're between the ages of pre-K, second or third grade, they might use ABC Mouse. And one thing about ABC Mouse is that it's not free; it's very expensive. And while they do supply videos, books, and fun activities to do with family members and pictures for younger kids, it's still a lot of money for people to be paying, and especially if you're part of a low poverty. Another app similar to that is Huntington Learning, which supplies tutoring for kids who are in pre-K to 12th grade. But that is also not free, and it is very expensive, and it also helps kids with test prep. Our solution that we thought of is a learning from your hand. The app is designed to provide your child with the most fun learning with the free app, and you make your child want to be eager to learn something new. Even my age, I always had problems with I was focused and never learned was entertaining. But an app that is specifically designed based needs, is free, sounds very interesting.
Okay, so this would be the mission statement, which would basically be to create a platform for education and technology and creative learning for K to second grade. The target market, K to second grade, minority children from low income, low performing schools and school districts, and children with documented learning disabilities. So this would be the what the app would look like when we put a kind of wireframed it out. We were looking at 2 phases right now. First phase would be a smart app that's available on multi-platform, and then phase 2 would be to build out a website that would be connected to the app. Phase 1 content would have spelling words, simple math problems, short stories on exercise and health, and fun activities for parents and kids, which came from our surveys. And then phase 2 would be interactive video lessons, gamified lessons that are based on project-based learning, and customized learning based on user learning styles and interests. Lauren, these were we would want the app to be available on our smart multi-platform smartphones, tablets, desktops, laptops, and smart TVs. App features, it would be a hybrid app, which makes it the cost, the origination cost lower. We can get it to the market faster.
40 seconds.
It would be user-friendly, it would have parental controls and fun informational learning. Revenue models would be ad-supported in the beginning, but then we would also look at user licenses sold to schools, CBO organizations, and other learning organizations. This would be an example of how it would look once they are trying to select it. They would select setting up their profile, they would select their grade, the parents would do the grade, and then the kids can pick the different types of things that they want to do. Startup costs in the beginning would be, we would put most of the money into a wireframe and kind of the development. We would outsource content development that we could put on to begin with, and a small budget to do a little bit of advertising, which we would then, as we get users signed on. Thank you. I'm not sure Lauren is back, but thank you for the time, and I hope you can see the vision that they have.
I'm sorry.
No worries, Lauren. I think I stepped in. I'm not as well as you could have, but I think I stepped in.
Well, I will say, as a parent of a 6-year-old who's been going through the kindergarten virtual process right now, this is a welcome addition. One of the things that I really would like to understand is, what are the key differentiators of your app from an ABC Mouse? ABC Mouse is kind of the titan in this area right now. Their advertisements are all over the place, and yeah, they are expensive. My first question is, what's the differentiator? And two, how do you plan to grow the business while still keeping your costs low?
I didn't really hear your first question, but the second question. My plan that I thought was to start off with ads, because that's how we make our money at first. From the ads, we would then go into targeting or seeing if we can get, schools that fund it similar to Khan Academy and where school funds that. And then from there, we can do CBOs and organizations that can help us fund instead of having to charge parents.
I've got a quick question. As far as the devices, I think that in some of the, of course, lower income communities, access to, phones and tablets and so forth, limited. Do you find that that's going to be any sort of a limiter as far as your ability to grow the application?
No, I feel as though because this is supposed to be a hybrid app, it's supposed to be not only for iPhone, but also iPad, desktops, computers. If a kid either wanted to go to a library and use the library, and I wanted to not only develop an app, but eventually branch it out to also a website, the kids could just go to the library, the website to use the app as well, which is like what some kids do today if they don't have the Wi-Fi they need.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm amazed that there's children that in kindergarten that are as sort of technically literate as they are. As I see my grandchildren, using those things. But yeah, okay. So I think that I think it's a great idea, and I think that it's something that's definitely needed.
Much like the last presentation, I also appreciated hearing your personal experiences around watching your younger sibling interact with new modalities of learning post-pandemic. It's always, I think, special because you get to lend that perspective to their development and their growth, and I think it shows that it's something that you're really passionate about. I am a licensed educator for children ages birth through grade 2 in the great state of New York. A very proud product of public schools here, and a license to teach in public schools. I am deeply concerned at the rate at which early learners are exposed to screen time through apps, through platforms that hold out educational materials, but if the medium is the message, then the modality itself will shorten their attention spans. This is why, as a practitioner of something called applied behavioral analysis, which is very effective for children with autism, which is the population I work the most with, using apps or technology in sessions is something that I highly discourage for families. And for the families that I have worked with, natural environment teaching is the most effective way to teach new skills to children who have the toughest of times with absorbing new information. My goal as an educator is to help support the next crop of great adults in 18 to 19 years in America. And I think that where we have this pandemic learning gap, solutions that prioritize holding a book in your hand, solutions that prioritize holding natural sensory objects that convey sensory information, a pot in the kitchen, a cup, a wooden object. Those are the ways that I think will be able to push back against the challenges that the pandemic learning gap has brought, and maintain the reputation that we have had of creating great adults here in the US. So I would encourage you to consider a model that prioritizes natural environment teaching. Best practices in early childhood say that is really ideal. while remote learning and children being outside of classrooms may make that difficult, I think that if we take the time that is put into thinking about different kinds of apps and what they offer and redirect them to what resources can we share with families that they can print out and read through and sit down with a child, giving eye contact and giving turn-taking skills, physical engagement, and then integrate natural objects. Everything in your home is a tool for learning, whatever it is, where the light switches on when you touch it, where the water runs when you turn the tap. The perspective around accessing learning, I think, should really reflect the ease of those amenities. And so, again, I'm really compelled by your passion around the subject matter. But as an educator and as someone who's really spent quite a bit of time around teaching some of the children who have the toughest time learning, I can tell you that it's natural objects. You might find that a lot of private schools return to in-person learning as soon as they could. And I think that that's going to make a difference in 10 years compared to other students who may not have had that luxury. And again, I'm a proud product of New York City's public school. I'm a proud license holder to teach in public schools. And I know that here in New York, our Department of Education works overtime to meet the biggest school system in America. Let us meet them halfway by bringing natural objects into our homes for early learners and emphasizing natural ways of teaching them new skills and subject matter. It's very possible.
I would just like to just respond a bit to that, to your last comment. I think that's very well said, and I think you're absolutely right. And you're obviously more of an expert in this field than I am, or the team. I would just say that the team really looked at something that is a stopgap and something that could be something that could be done now. This is an aid, a learning aid. It is not to replace in-person learning. I think everyone wants to get back to regular, normal 5 days a week in-person learning. But the team really felt strongly, particularly Lauren, who presented this, felt strongly that this could be an aid to learning and in a way to meet children in lower incomes and where they're at, meet them where they're at, gamify the learning, and help them kind of step into a more rich learning environment.
I just wanted to say, Lauren, I think you did a great job. Dakeem, also thank you for stepping in and helping finish the presentation. That's exactly what we talked about, where things will go wrong in the middle of a presentation. And what great mentorship on your part. And Lauren, what great coming back. And I know you're down here in Florida too, so it's hard to work from afar sometimes. In terms of, I just wanted to respond a little bit too. It is interesting. Do we go into we all miss that textual, that touch learning, and I just want to say that it's two sides of the same coin, right? How do we teach the kids how to do things, and then also how do we give them the ability to advance in our technological world, whether we like it or not? As adults, the children are born now, and by 2 to 3 years old, studies have been done that show that their brains are already more advanced than our age, because of the technology they're exposed to. Their brains are literally being rewired differently. And it's fascinating. And so I think we also have to prepare children to live in that world too. So I think you did a great job, Lauren. I think that trying to find an option that is less expensive for those subscription services and that's more tailored to this younger age, I just think you did a really great job. And I wanted to dive in and thank Dakeem for that. That was a great mentorship mentee working together. And I just really wanted to compliment you both on that, especially with where we were at on Tuesday when we talked. So I think you guys did a great job. And I think there's just so many different ways out there for us to all learn.